thank you for coming here. My name is Fancy, and I'm a fighter of Numenor, and then I have been fighting for I think it's around 2.5 years at this point. But it's nice to have you here if you want to talk about yourself a little bit.
Yeah, hi. It's fantastic to be here. My name is Brazen. I've been fighting out of kind of the Iowa City area and then recently moved to the Twin Cities area about a few years ago, but I've been fighting for about 7 years.
Oh, great. All right, so we're just gonna have a couple icebreaker questions just to start things off to get to know you a bit and see like what you've been doing for like chainmail and everything. So, how did you first start learning and getting into chainmail?
Honestly, it's been kind of a journey. I started getting into chainmail years ago, like right out of college when really dove heavily into Belagarth, and I really sucked at it actually. It did not come naturally, and so I put it down and swore off of it entirely. But this year at this new job that I got, I had a lot of meetings and desk work, and one of my coworkers knit, so I decided to kind of pick up chainmail again. And this time around, it was a lot easier because I think I developed some patience.
Well, that's cool. So, what was the first thing you ever created?
The first thing I created, or at least I would say partially created, was I was gifted two chainmail sleeves from a friend of mine, and I unlinked them and then put them together kind of even about and made like a rough chainmail tabard. It was not very pretty, but that would be, I guess, technically the first thing that I've made.
Okay, was it just regular like the
It was
silver?
it
Yeah.
was steel. No, it was definitely Bell legal. Um, but it's probably sitting somewhere rusted in my closet somewhere at this point.
That's cool at least. So, what would you consider like the most challenging part of, making chainmail and for yourself or that you consider more difficult for new people to get a grasp on?
So, honestly, I would say the hardest part is one, having the patience because sometimes the stuff does not come naturally, as well as learning the terms that are thrown around when making chainmail. For example, like learning what ring size to choose, the differences between standard wire gauge and American wire gauge, um, inner diameter versus outer diameter, and then aspect ratio. You can't really make certain patterns in the chainmail without knowing any of that stuff.
Interesting. So, like, what would you consider like the most crucial tool then when you craft chainmail?
So the tool that basically are required to have is needle nose pliers. Depending on what the material your chainmail is made out of, you're either going to want there to be little teeth in your pliers, so it'll give you a bit more grip. I recommend this for working with titanium and steel, or, the harder metals. But if you're working with aluminum, copper, you're going to want some smooth needle nose pliers so you don't mar the color at all.
Okay. I'm guessing it probably like indents into them with them being so soft as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can completely just destroy aluminum rings if you have teeth on your pliers. So you definitely need to know how to choose which pliers are best for the project, what size, because if you're working with really small rings, for example, ones that are like this size, you're going to want smaller pliers. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to maneuver the rings around.
Okay. And then have you incorporated a lot of other materials with chainmail, like in your pieces that you create?
Currently, I've only ever incorporated some teeth and bones. I'm working on incorporating different ring materials. So I want to experiment with making wood and bone jump rings so I can weave those in and kind of give it a more unique feel to it. Just kind of push the limits on what I can actually accomplish with the chainmail.
Yeah, what works and what doesn't. It's fun to just try different things. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So on to like the main topic, which is you have a class. You're going to be having a class at Oktoberfest, which is very exciting. I know I'm
Yeah,
going to
I'm
be
pumped.
there. I'm so excited for you. And then when you have this class, what are you going to be teaching? Like, what is the class going to be focused around?
So I will be giving kind of a brief introduction and history of chainmail, just because I find that fascinating to know, you know, what we have now and where it came from. And then I'll be going over some of those terms that I was telling you about and explaining in easier like words, because whenever I look this stuff up online, it's always a little technical. So I'm going to be explaining and using like physical examples to show like what aspect ratio means, what different size rings will do, as well as different materials. And then I'm going to have like little packets that each person will be able to take home with them with rings, and it will show a tutorial on easy weaves. So, like European 4-in-1 is what you see most people make armor out of. It's a very standard weave. I'm sure everybody's kind of seen it. So how to make that, and then how to make some very simple chainmail necklaces and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. And then what made you want to do a class?
You know, I really like the idea of giving back to the community, and I hadn't seen too many chainmail classes in the years that I'd been doing Belagarth, and this is something that I've put a lot of time and energy into over the past year to get good at, and so I figured this is my time to kind of give back.
Oh, great. And is there like a fee or anything to attend your class, or do people need to bring anything?
Nope, it'll be completely free. The only thing that people need to bring is just themselves. Bringing a pair of pliers, like needle nose pliers, would be helpful, because if they say after the class, I'm not sure if we'll actually physically get everybody to work with the rings at the class, but if people are interested and afterwards I can kind of show them how to do things. So if they bring pliers, it just ensures that everyone can have a pair.
Okay, cool. And then what do you want people to leave with at the end of your class that, how they're feeling, or what sort of thing do you want them to leave with?
Honestly, just that feeling of, oh, this isn't as unapproachable of a hobby as I thought it was. Kind of like empowered to actually try it. Because I don't know about you, but whenever I want to try new things, it can be so overwhelming to not, just to jump into it and not know where to go or where to start. So I want people leaving feeling like, huh, I think I could, get some rings and maybe mess around with them and make something.
Yeah, like especially I haven't been fighting for very long, but you see people wearing full armor and you wonder how hard it is to make that sort of thing. And there's some people that don't really have a lot of others who have made that stuff, so it could definitely be a good opportunity for them to have the ability to learn that. So I'm super glad that you're going to be doing this class, and I'm very excited for it myself because I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot. But yeah, thank you very much for coming and talking with us about me, not about me, talking with this with me a little bit. And I'm very excited for your class, and we'll have more precise information on exactly when it is and the times for it and everything later that come out. And then if you know there's something else that comes up, I'll let everyone else know if there's any updates on anything. But thank you very much for coming on here, and I hope that you have a wonderful time at this year's Okfest with your class.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you for having me on. I think this is a really cool thing to help promote the classes. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you and hopefully everyone else at my class.